Hello, and welcome to episode of Todd Talks. People listen, and I'm here to make an announcement. Today, we have something special to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, because rarely in my natural vocabulary do I talk with the word peak. We're talking about that today. And I know, I loved Goku vs. Superman 3, and I loved Scooby Courage in every way that matters, but, like, even after watching all that greatness, okay, yeah, I'd call those peak. But today, with Bowser vs. Eggman, which I've gotten done watching and have come down off the high that I am, this is peak. Like, this legit is peak. This is, without a doubt, one of the greatest death battles I have ever seen. And again, this is even compared to Goku vs. Superman 3, which I still love, and Scooby vs. Courage, which I still love. And all of my other favorite death battles ever, the list that I literally just wrote a month or so ago, when things were just getting started, I wrote that list thinking, okay, maybe in the future we'll get, another episode on that list from the new stock of death battles. I didn't expect it 3 episodes in. My God. Like, do you see this happiness? This is what I needed today. I'm like, legit, I've been having a rut of a week, and this just brought me right out of it, because, like, this episode, Bowser Eggman Army Battle, was just literally everything you could hope for and more. It is peak. It is now one of my favorite death battles ever, easily top 3, and I know what I would kick out of my top 3. Sorry, Solid Snake versus Sam Fisher, but you got trumped. As the song said, behold the king. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, and by the way, Bowser won. Yeah, I've been gushing for 2 minutes, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention, I won. 2-1 this new season. Gods, where do we even start? Like, first of all, death battle people, DJ, Luis, Moro, Ben, Chad, Liam, I know, was helping out in smaller ways. All the researchers, everything and everyone that contributed. They even talked on the recent Death Battle cast where some of the researchers who weren't even, like, directly researching things were asked by, like, DJ to say, hey, could you find this footage? Can you find this footage? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. Like, this was not like the Army battle itself. This was a team effort, full stop, to make this shine. And the peak, period, peak. I don't even, like, look, there was a lot of discourse on this one. Like, while I don't think it'll have, for the record, I apologize for the light. I don't know why I'm shining like this. It's literally gray in my room. But let me, like, zoom in, maybe, there we go. So there was a lot of discourse on this, even on the Discord, because there was a lot of people saying, well, okay, but Bowser's got this, yes, but Eggman's got this. Okay, Bowser's got this, and Eggman's got this, What about Sage? What about Metal Sonic? How do we scale the Koopalings? Like, if you remember my preview video, I honestly didn't know how well to scale the Koopalings, which obviously we only got Bowser Jr. in here, but still, they would have had a huge impact on the army itself. But, like, there were all these questions, what about the Chaos Emeralds? What about the Phantom Ruby? What about the Dreamstone and the Star Rod and whatever? There was a lot to comprehend here. You could argue that this was the most intricate death battle in history. That's saying something, since we had Goku versus Superman 5 episodes ago, something like that. Like, what the heck? Because they had to talk about the minions, the power-ups, the bosses themselves, all the different ways that they could interact, and it was awesome. It was just awesome. Like, I was smiling ear to ear just by the end of the Bowser rundown. We hadn't even gotten to the fight yet. I'm just like, this is, like, a really great rundown. I love this. And then by the time I got to the Eggman one, I was just like, I was trying to keep my expectations in check, because last night, at time of recording, I skimmed through the good parts, of the G1 blog, and I'm just like, okay, Bowser's got all this, how could Eggman compare? Then they listed everything Eggman is likely going to get. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should temper my expectations. And then the Geo1 vlog actually pulled for Bowser, and I'm just like, please be right. Please be right this time. And so, but like the Eggman rundown was really, really good. And I just had a feeling that, this could go still either way with everything that was going on. And then the animation started, and like, Moro, my God, you are a madman with everything you did. And like, going into this, like, picture how you honestly thought it would go. Like, how much would we see of the armies, whatever. I even mentioned in my prediction video, did it like really matter that the army was there or not? Technically, no, technically, but it made it all the better that we had all these various parts of the army interaction. Like Infinite, I didn't even think that he would get Infinite for one reason or another. I know Sonic Forces wasn't the favorite, so I didn't even think of putting him in there. And they were only showing Metal and Sage for the most part. So, but like Infinite showing up and having a bit and having King Boo take him out, and then Metal Sonic going through the various transformations and taking out Kamek and briefly taking out Bowser Jr. and even the little shots that showed the family dynamic of the Eggman clan with "nice work, Metal," and then he goes like, like that was great, and I love that. And Bowser, uh, like I didn't. I talked I think briefly about the family dynamic of the Koopa troop and whatever. Like he's their king, like he's their leader. They'll do anything for him, and we've seen that throughout the games. But here we saw Bowser returning the favor. Like when Infinite was using the Phantom Ruby to warp perception, Bowser's like trying to keep his clan, not transmutated or whatever, so that King Boo and then King Boo gets the kill shot, and then he's protecting him in other ways, including with from the Death Egg laser, like, and then Eggman and Sage having their nice interactions. That was great. It was just there was even the little bits like the little scrap to get the Phantom Ruby from like the lower tier Badniks and the Koopa clan, the Koopa troop. Like those are the funny moments. Like those are the ones that are like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Or Kamek getting Team Rocketed out of there, which is so hilarious. And then like everything just started to build and build, and you're just like, what's going on? And then Fury Bowser shows up. It's showtime. And I know a lot of people thought because of the trailer that DJ made that that might be the sign that Bowser would lose, because they're showing Fury Bowser, like clearly Bowser not gonna take. And one person in particular, who you are. No, not you, Sage, Avatar person. I'm not talking about you. Yes, you. I'm not going to name you, but you know who you are. You even said after the G1 vlog that Bowser was toast. And I quoted it today after the battle and the 1 hour non-spoiler tag, saying statements that didn't age well. Oh my gosh, because it was just great. It was so peak. And then we got to the final bits with Bowser Jr. getting killed by Metal Sonic, and Bowser's like, keep your hands off my son. Like that was, I knew that was gonna happen. I knew that moment was gonna happen one way or the other, because it just felt right. And then of course with the Death Egg laser and Bowser going dry Bowser, I'm just like, oh crap. And then right when I see Eggman outside the Eggmobile, I'm just like, oh, Bowser's still alive, ain't he? And we cut to the shot of Bowser Jr. going like, and dry Bowser behind him. I'm just like, peak. It was so good. Like, I'm tearing up right now, and I'm not afraid to say I cried while I was watching the fight. It was just so beautiful, the interactions, and then turning the Death Egg into the square block, the coin block. That was awesome. And like, look at this. This is a genuine smile. I am as happy as I've been probably since the last Death Battle, because I really like Joker Giorno, but like that was so great. And the ending with the army celebrating as it was raining coins, and then seeing some of the Badniks and Sage signing up for Bowser's army. I was just like, oh my god, this was peak. Like, I have no doubt, like, whenever I'm feeling down this week, which, the high will wear off eventually. Let's just be honest here. That's how life goes. I will rewatch this episode. I'll be like, okay, I got 30 minutes. I can rewatch this episode, and then I'll be just like right back in it. And then even the verdict stuff, like where we saw the alternate scenarios, like with Bowser using the Star Rod to stop the metal virus and everything. They mentioned, I think it was in the Death Battle cast or the Fireside chat, that they kept stopping the animation to go back and do other things, not because they felt they did something wrong, but because they wanted to add more stuff. And I feel like this was an example of that, where they were just like, hey, what if we did alternate scenarios? Like Eggman using the metal virus, or Nightmare Eggman versus the Star Rod, and so on and so forth. Because the Star Rod, if you recall, was one of my reasons I really thought that in the Dreamstone that Bowser could win. I didn't take into account the Grand Stars and whatever, but and the time meter, not a fact. And they shut the time meter. It was Dreamy Bowser versus Time Meter or whatever. And like that's really cool because people were thinking of that, like, oh, but what about this and what about that? And even they be like, this was an incredibly tricky matchup, so they had to do the not just the 5 things, but like really dive deep into it. And I loved it. And usually this would be the point where I would say, okay, but I mean, I wish they could have done this better. Even like some of my favorites, you can point out smaller things that like, it didn't like. They could just add a little bit more. The only thing that I can think of for Bowser Eggman from start to finish that was wrong is that they didn't do scenarios that I thought of myself. And that's not a gripe. That's a nitpick of the smallest infinitesimal origin. Like, for example, if you remember my prediction video, I noted that I thought King Babam would be a huge asset to Bowser's army because they could just grow him to massive size, throw him into the Eggman Empire, and blow it all up, And King Babam got wasted by Infinite, and that made me sad because I'm like, oh, that was such a cool thing they could have done. But like, who cares? That's my idea. That was my idea of how they should handle things. That doesn't ruin the quality, And I mean, like, the visuals were peak. The voice acting was hilarious. The way the battle went back and forth, the soundtrack, Behold the King. If you didn't see, the track is called Game Over. And I'm like, yes. It's peak. It's freaking peak. I mean, like, again, the only thing you could have said is that I wish it was longer because it was so good. Why not, right? Because they obviously could have done, even more things if they had more time and money. Curse you not getting to $1 million Kickstarter budget. Hey, we got 700K. We rocked that. But and like you might have thought, oh, I really want to see like this item or this thing and this thing and this thing, and I understand that, but like what we got was so dang peak. It renders all that moot. Like everything else, it would have been like just gratuitous because they had everything that they needed to make this battle not just awesome to watch, but true to the characters. Like Eggman just like throwing, one person called out like before the fight even started, hey, I would love if Eggman did a move to basically wipe out both armies, not caring about his own, and then Bowser defends his army to show how he cares about them, because he does. And that's exactly what we got at the end with the Death Egg laser, where Bowser's defending his army, rest of Eggman's army outside of stage gets wiped out, and he's just like, ugh, oh bother, who cares? And then he dies. And I love how they even had like a fake out at the end where just like, wait a minute, is because they kept like the sucking thing with Bowser and Eggman, and don't you do it. I'm not doing the Zarbon moan. I'm not doing it. The inhaling bit, and like Eggman keeps like trying to get out of it with the jetpack and the laser, and then Bowser Jr. just is like, nope. There were so many shots in there, like with Metal Sonic and his aura, to Bowser Jr. just going, I am so sick of your crap, and so on and so forth. It's peak. It is peak Death Battle 3 episodes in. 3 episodes into its return. Orange, you glad that we brought it back? If we didn't bring it back, that episode would not have gotten finished. That episode would not have gotten seen. And while I can't say how fast it'll get to 1 million or what its overall view count will be, I truly feel that this is one of the best Death Battle episodes ever. It should become one of the most viewed Death Battle episodes ever, and we need to do our parts to make it that way, because this just deserves to be treasured, respected, honored, and loved. It's peak. Which brings me to the oh so ironic next time on Death Battle. Fall Guys versus Among Us. I figured it was going to be one of two fights just because of how Ben and Chad were talking about it. I thought it was either going to be Among Us versus Fall Guys, or it was going to be Team Star Fox versus Rogue Squadron. Just a thing. And there was a reference to Star Wars in the battle, if you didn't see with the TIE Fighter in the Eggman fleet. So I just like, is this a reference? Are we going to get this fight? Whatever. And yes, we are finally getting Among Us versus Fall Guys. And while I have no doubt that they're going to have a really fun time with this episode, ooh, they got a hard thing to overcome. I mean, this was peak, and as much as I wanted this episode, and that means another one of my predictions has come true, they're gonna have a tough time overcoming this one. And I know that's not a fair thing to say. That's like saying that Galactus Unicron had a tough time, had a uphill battle against Goku versus Superman. It did, obviously, but it's two different things. So I'm looking forward to that, and that is number 4 of this year. And then after that, it's onward and forward with everything that happens in Death Battle. So great day, great battle. Thank you, Death Battle, and everyone who worked on it. And again, thank you, fans, because without you, we would not have gotten to see this epicness unfold. And with that, I am finishing easily one of my longest reaction videos in Todd Talk history. You're welcome. Let me know what you thought of Bowser versus Eggman. And I'm warning you right now, for anyone who dares insult this episode, you are getting deleted. I will hear no blasphemy on my comment section this time. And let me know what you thought or you think is going to happen in Among Us versus Fall Guys. So I thank you for watching. If you made it as far, I know you're listening. And I'll see you around.